Darkness strikes once again. They're all alone. It feels like the end. They won't let you sleep. It's a heart attack on one-way street. So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. The reason I sung that song was because I was thinking about something, and that's from the soundtrack of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. And the reason I sung that at the beginning of this video is because I was thinking about something. I was thinking about tormented people in general and how tormented people can't sleep. And as a disclaimer, I'm not talking about anyone that has any verified or real um, issues with depression or anxiety or panic or anything like that. Nothing like that. I'm talking about malicious, afflicted people that are afflicted with their own demons. And because they do not know how to deal with it, they go out into the world and they try to inflict that pain on other people. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I turned my heater off because it's getting kind of hot in here. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because I saw a recent video or a clip of Orlando Brown in a restaurant, I believe in California, I believe it was in LA. And, we've all seen the videos and the interviews that Orlando Brown has done. And I'm not saying that he has not gone through things in Hollywood. I'm not saying that he's not a victim of extreme ritualization. I'm not saying that he's not a victim of abuse, spiritual abuse, emotional abuse, all forms of abuse. I'm not saying that he's not. But at the same time, he doesn't know how to deal with his demons. And people can sit up and talk about, well, he has this issue or that issue, but he's functioning enough to know right from wrong. Okay? If he can sit up and talk about he's Jesus Christ and talk about the tenements of Christ and talk about how the world needs to go back to God and, treating people right and stuff like that. But then he goes into a public restaurant and begins to attack and antagonize the staff that is there. We have to have a conversation. And I really don't care who does not like what I'm saying. I'm not in this. I don't agree with someone just because they're black. I don't. Like I told you all, anybody can get it. And, there are people who watch me that I can sense who have a problem with that. And that's okay. You can continue to have a problem with that. And the reason people have a problem with that, not necessarily some people that watch me, but the reason people have a problem with that is because they see themselves in Orlando Brown. We are not dismissing the abuse that he has went through in the industry. It's not about that, but it's about responsibility. Okay. He was in a public restaurant and he had a tirade and they threw him out. He went on a tirade against the staff in there and he began to accuse one of the staff people of being Richard Ramirez. Then he started calling the person um, all types of names, and making the most heinous accusations against the person because he bared a striking resemblance to Richard Ramirez. Okay? And it was really interesting. It was really interesting. I believe Orlando Brown has spiritual gifts. I do. But I think that his spiritual gifts right now are tainted and contaminated. He is telling people that he is Jesus Christ. Then he told people he is the son of Satan and Lucifer. Now, I can get into the symbolics of all of that because I understand it, but I just want to be layman for a minute. I want to be layman and I want to just deal with it on a layman level so people can understand what I'm saying. Orlando Brown is a very nasty person. And, I have oftentimes had compassion for his plight and some of the things that he has had to say. But when you go into a public place where you have working class people who are trying to make ends meet. Now, granted, I don't know exactly what caused him to go off on the staff people. From what I understand, it was because they asked him to calm down and he totally went ballistic. Okay? He totally went ballistic on those people. But he's a very nasty person. How can you go from your Jesus Christ? He's walking around calling everyone a demon. Everyone is a demon. Everyone is Satan, telling people, Satan, get behind me, and all these other things, calling himself Jesus Christ, but then calling somebody a bitch motherfucker in the same breath. I don't think Jesus would have went around calling people a bitch motherfucker. I don't think he would have did that. And then he's clearly calling people demons when he's ignoring the demons that he's afflicted with. And that is why I sang that song in the beginning of the video. Because Orlando Brown is one of those people where darkness has struck him once again. He's all alone and it feels like the end. He can't sleep. He can't think. Everyone is a demon. He's calling everyone else Satan while ignoring his own personal demons that have and that continue to afflict him. Now let's have a conversation. Orlando Brown played on That's So Raven, right? He played on that show, That's So Raven. He has made accusations against Raven Simone. He has made accusations against his own mother. He said his own mother wanted to have an inappropriate relationship, I'm going to say that, with him. He has made those allegations as well. He has accused Raven Simone of being Drake. And now he's running around telling people that he's Jesus Christ. He's calling everyone he runs into a demon. And this is the same man that tried to allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly, that tried to, or he might have done it, I'm going to say allegedly, he attacked his own cousin who took him in, allegedly, took him in, fed him, tried to show him love and compassion, and then he turned on his cousin for whatever reason, and then the cousin had to end up calling the police on him. But he's Jesus Christ, right? He can't stay still. He's always on the move. And people really like watching this train wreck. When I look at Orlando Brown, I get a tear in my eye. because he is an American tragedy. He's a Black American tragedy, not because of the things that he says. He's a tragedy because he won't take any responsibility for his own demons, but yet he wants to call everyone else a demon. Everyone else is a demon except him, right? I see the demon inside of him. I see the demon in his eyes. I can see it clear as day. It was activated in that restaurant. But yet he's calling on the name of Jesus Christ. How can you call on the name of Jesus Christ when you are a so-called demon? And I'm speaking layman now. I'm speaking layman. I'm not really, speaking, literally in terms of, you know, that religious belief system. I'm only speaking in layman terms so people can understand what I'm saying. This isn't based upon my belief, it's based upon his. Okay? He believes he's Jesus Christ. He believes in Yahweh. I'm assuming because he is a child of Yahweh. And this is how children of Yahweh act. He's not of Christ. Orlando Brown is not of Christ. And I've never really spoken out against him or tried to tear him down. And I'm not trying to do that now. I'm just pointing out that he's getting all of this attention because of his demons. I'm not even talking about the outlandish claims that he's made. I like hearing some of the interesting things he talks about. I see the demon in his eyes. I see it. His own personal demons while he calls out other people's demons, right? And then calling on the name of Jesus. So it really makes me sit back and wonder about something. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad about what I'm getting ready to say. By the way, I don't care. Because we all have demons. We all do. But I'm getting ready to say something. He calls on Jesus Christ, yet he is obviously afflicted with demons himself. But he's calling himself Jesus Christ. And we all know, those of us who are occultists, who really study the darker side of Jesus, we all know that Jesus did deal with demons. We all know that. We all know that. Oh, how could you say that? Well, it's the truth. It's the truth. Jesus was a spiritualist, he was a warlock, he was an experiencer of many different things. So when Orlando Brown calls himself Jesus, what is he really saying? Is he really trying to tell us that Jesus Christ was really a demon? Because he calls everyone else a demon, ignoring his own demons. Is that what he's really is that what he really trying to tell people? And I'm not saying that that's the truth. I'm just speculating, asking questions according to his mind. He says he told the person, Satan, get behind thee. That's what he told the guy who worked in that restaurant. These are working class people. He's coming into the restaurant attacking working class people, but then in an interview, he was talking about how people should have free food, free water, and all these other amenities and all of these other luxuries that he said that people should have in the world. But you go into a restaurant where people are working hard for their money, people in the service industry, and you're calling them bitch motherfuckers and disrespecting them and being a malicious person. That's not a person that has what they call mental illness, in my opinion. And I'm not giving any medical advice in any way. Disclaimer. That's a person who's a nasty, malicious person who's very conscious of what they're doing. That's a nasty, malicious spirit. And no one has never really pointed that out about him because everyone wants to feel sorry for him. He's doing exactly what I have seen so many black men do in my lifetime. They're mad at the world. They're in pain. And they want to put that pain off on someone else. Not just black men, of course. But I'm saying that about him because he also talks about a lot of racial elements as well. He talks about how black people should be this and how black people are kings and queens and black people. But the thing is that he is a child of Yahweh. He is a child of a desolate place. And if no one can see that, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not saying that he didn't go through any pain. I'm not saying that his pain is in vain. But he enjoys inflicting pain on people. How can you accuse a person of being a demon when you're one yourself? But isn't that all? And I'm not saying that demons are bad or good, but what I'm making the case that I'm trying to make is that he's calling people demons to take the focus off of himself because he's the biggest demon that there is. Not because of the allegations he makes, but because of his arrogance. There's nothing humble about Orlando Brown. He has a very nasty spirit. He's a nasty person. He's a Sagittarius. So that's a given with a lot of them. Dark shadow side is Gemini. So I take that back. My apologies, Sagittarius. He's operating in Gemini. Orlando Brown is operating in the Gemini energy. He's operating in Gemini. Because the Gemini is the darker shadow self of the Sagittarius. So while he may have been a victim, and while he may have been victimized by Hollywood, he is now going out in public victimizing other people. He did it to his own cousin who tried to take him in and tried to help him. But what's interesting is when those police officers locked him up and called him all types of names, well, that one police, a bounty hunter, he was very humble pie with him, wasn't he? Very humble pie. But you get around working class people that are in the service industry and you want to curse them out and attack them and then be a basically a black Karen, a black male Karen of videotaping that young man who I think he looked to be maybe Latino or Hispanic. You're videotaping that young man who was doing his job. The young man really wasn't even saying anything. I probably would have been like this. I probably would have been the same way. Because how do you argue with an unstable, functioning person like that? He's unstable, but he knows exactly what he's doing. Unstable people are very conscious sometimes of the horrors that they inflict on other people's lives or in other people's lives. He always talks about his wife and his children, but you never see him with them. He can't keep still. He's always on the move. And it's not just because for the reasons that he's given that his life is in danger and all that. No, he can't keep still because he's a tormented person. Just like the people that I live around.